All right, baby, the beta is out. Beta is out. We got some changes. We got some cool stuff. We got some tier sets. Woo! Woo! Let's take a little, little looky-loo. Let's take a little look. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, so let's look at our tier bonus first, and then we'll go into the class changes and the tree changes. Uh, Mortal Strike and Cleave increase the damage of your next overpower by 10%. That's fine. Overpower did receive a lot of, or they nerfed a lot of the talents that were giving Overpower direct damage, so giving it more damage on top of that would have been too much, so it makes sense why those were nerfed. When Overpower has its cooldown reset by Tactician, your next Mortal Strike or Cleave has its damage increased by 10%, and Critical Strike chance increased by 10%, stacking it 2 times. Okay, this is really good. It's pretty cool. This is a decent bonus. It's not very interesting, but basically it's like, hey, it just fits with the gameplay, right? You're trying to get Tactician procs, you're trying to reset your Overpowers, then you're resetting your Mortal Strikes or Cleaves, it's just enhancing that gameplay. It's nothing special, it's nothing crazy, but it's enhancing that gameplay. Something that I find interesting, though, is it says Mortal Strike and Cleave, and Mortal Strike and or Cleave. What I'm assuming is going to happen is that in the talent description for Colossus, one of the issues that we talked about, that I talked about with Arkham Tyros and Dan, was that, well, they brought it up. I didn't talk about it. They're the ones that brought it up, and it made more sense. Which is for the Colossus tree, how are you going to build stacks of Colossal Might in AOE with Cleave if you need to hit Mortal Strike? So I'm assuming this Mortal Strike and Cleave, they're probably just going to add this to Colossal Might for Colossus, just because it just makes sense, and I'm assuming that's just what they're going to do because of this wording, right? Um, Move on to Fury. Bloodthirst increases the damage of your next rampage by 10%. That's fine. That's just the gameplay loop, and they're willing to make Bloodthirst a way better button to press. They're like, hey guys, fucking press it. So Bloodthirst getting a stacking buff for Rampage on top of stuff like Slaughtering Strikes, which is really strong for Rampage. Rampage is going to hit pretty hard. When Raging Blow resets on cooldown, the damage of your next Bloodthirst increased by 10%. Stacking. The Raging Blows resets like 45 or like 50%. It's pretty good. It's a pretty decent chance, right? You're getting a pretty decent chance. But this is once again reinforcing that, hey, you want to hit Raging Blow, you want to hit Bloodthirst. So they're making these sets where they just kind of synergize with what you're already doing. It's not doing anything special. There's nothing really you're modifying about how the way you play. It's just, hey, you're going to play the way you're going to play. We're just going to make you do it better. That's just kind of what they're doing here. Same thing with the prot stuff. I'm not really going to look at the prot stuff. I just don't care. I'm not looking at the prot stuff. But let's see. I did look at this a little bit already, and it looks like they're removing. They just straight up removed Ravager. But let's just go down the list, right? And one thing to note, and these talent positions have changed, is because they adjusted some of the pathing over here. And because of these pathing adjustments, they're still like in the same spots mostly, but it's just talent position has changed on there. That's what's kind of throwing me for a loop. Battle Lord is the same. Bloodletting is the same. Critical Thinking, this is a pretty sizable change, and it's something that was really necessary. One of Arms' pain points, especially, was even though it's an execute-centric class, its execute actually was just rage starved the whole time, because obviously all of our abilities, but Mortal Strike and Execute cost 20 rage. So we have that 20 rage, but then Execute goes up to 40, doing big damage. Mortal Strike is 30. But with this change, it just means that with Execute refunding 20% of the rage spent, when we go here, if the foe survives, you're getting 30%. With this and Critical Thinking, you're getting 30% of your rage back every time you cast Execute, which is just going to help its rage economy within the Execute window. I do kind of wish they would give us back Warlord's Torment, where I think it was Arkham Tyros's, or I'm just going to call Archie. His recommendation was that it applies you get that Recklessness buff from Warlord's Torment only under 35%, which I thought was a good idea. Sorry, I was attacked and my thing popped up. But this is just helps our rage economy in execute, and so this is definitely way better. This is a good change. We'll see if it makes enough of a difference, with just 10% more rage. But we'll see. Maybe they have to adjust something a little more. Deft experience the same. Precision fatality is the same. Hurricane has been removed from arms. No more Hurricane. No more Hurricane for arms. No more Hurricane for Fury. This opens up because Hurricane was really good. Hurricane was really good. But here's the problem with Hurricane, especially with something like Slayer on the table. How is Blizzard going to balance the amount of damage you're doing and balance Hurricane and balance Blade Storm correctly if whenever you hit the button you get a 30% strength bonus, right? Like, that's crazy, and you're getting it regularly, especially with Slayer. So I think they're going to independently tune these abilities, and they kind of realized, hey, Hurricane, little too much, just doing a little too much, you know. But one thing it also does open up, depending on what you're doing, is now normally you would always take Hurricane. If you're taking this, you're taking Hurricane, but it does potentially open up not taking these. But realistically, you're still going to take one of these. You're going to take something here. But taking Hurricane away, I think, makes a lot of sense. And it also allows them to, like I said, independently tune the abilities, just to make it better, just to make it the way it should be. Ravager has been removed. These are still in the same positions. So that's fine. Artifact trait? I guess it's because they're removing Ravager. It's just Sword of Storms from an arc. Okay, that doesn't matter at all. We can attack again. Okay, these are just changes for removing Ravager out of these tooltips. That's fine. But no, this looks really good. I'm excited for this. They did change the pathing again to where we don't. I think the old. I don't have a visual. Do I have a visual on the old pathing in my DMs here? No, I don't have a visual of the old pathing in my DMs, but if I remember right, this was like basically the pathing's a little better. This is what it was before, where you could go Valor and Victory into your side pools. I think you had to go into like Bladestorm into the side pools before, but with this change back to what it kind of was with Valor and Victory, it means you don't have to take Bladestorm if you don't need it, depending on what you're doing, without being able to kind of shimmy and go around the sides for build diversity. So that's good. This pathing change is really good for arms. But going down to Fury, it's the same thing where they changed. I guess they changed the pathing. Yeah, they changed. So okay, that's something they did where now is this much different? Honestly, I can't tell. They just changed the pathing a little bit through here. Talent position change. They didn't change any of these, but they said the talent position was changed because they did change because this was like under here and this was over here. They made it more accessible. I think there's more like through lines on the sides to be able to pick and choose and go down and stuff like that. So I think they made there have been some additional change, but they're just like, hey, you know what? Just fucking pick whatever. You pick the thing, you can go wherever. I think that's kind of what they did from the looks of it. But there weren't any specific changes to Fury. Moving over to Coloss. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 Yepity. Yep. Yep. Yepity. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. And Cleave. It's Mortal Strike and Cleave. If it hits 3 or more targets, and Cleave. Okay, cool. This also stops potential degeneration from wanting to spec Cleave and single target, because if it hits 3 or more targets, obviously you're AoEing. But this stops the issue of, are you going to take Cleave and single target to try and run Mortal Strike and Cleave to try and get your Colossal Might stacks? No. Mortal Strike, single target, Cleave AoE. You're going to get your stacks, you're going to do your thing. Good. Stormbolt also hits stunning them, but its cooldown is increased by. I don't. This talent sucks. This talent's just trash. Where is it? Stormbolts. It's 2 additional targets, stunning them, but its cooldown. This talent sucks, man. Because you're just stun DRing for a very, very small stun when you could be running like Shockwave and hitting everything instead of stun DRing your shit with 3 targets. I don't know. That Stormbolt talent, it sucks. That talent sucks. Some general changes. Oh. Oh, 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 okay. Harmful spell. Does that mean we're going to be able to intervene spell reflect things? Give intervene more like. Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay, that has potential applications. I don't know the exact like what that's going to mean for us, but the applications there are. But the applications for this are pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, that has a lot of potential, and that's actually pretty strong PvP too. Okay, this intervene change actually might mean something. And if we're looking at Mountain Thane, intervening a target grants them a shield that absorbs magic damage equal to 3 times your armor. So I mean that gives more value to that talent. That's an interesting change that has potential. Okay. They changed so Fury now has unhinged, but it's you automatically wait every. What do they change it to? Every other time Bladestorm or Ravager deals damage, you automatically cast a Bloodthirst at your target or a random and nearby enemy. Oh, okay. You're just going to be fucking throwing out Bloodthirst, which is going to be buffing your tier set, which is going to be getting crits, which is going to be enraging you. Oh, okay. That running that with AM is okay. That's pretty good actually, and it heals you. Like, okay, all right. I thought it was like a rampage, but it's just Bloodthirsts. All right, that's pretty sick, actually. Okay. Change the power, change the power. No, okay. These are some interesting changes. Definitely the rage economy changes are very good. The tier set bonus just works with what we're doing. The intervene change is very interesting. The removal of Hurricane, I think, is incredibly important because it allows them to tune things efficiently and correctly, and we don't have to worry about a 30% strength amp at all times because 30% strength amp at all times sucks. In terms of trying to balance it correctly. Now we get to run stuff like Unhinged, but other things that are interesting is Unhinged for like arms, as an example. Now with Unhinged working that way, we're also going to get, while we're blade storming, potentially, we're getting more stacks of Colossal Might and everything like that. So, no, this is good. This is good. This is good. These are some really good changes, some really cool changes. But I think it'll be. I need my beta hasn't been able to update. It's having problems. So once my beta gets to update, once we can get in there, once we can start testing, once we can, as the dwarves say, put your feet on the ground. I should never do that again. We can actually like start feeling these things out and trying them out, and I'm really happy about these changes, and having changes like this made that feel more like having changes that feel more significant makes me feel way better about my class and about things changing. I mean, a lot of these aren't really anything because most of them it says position change. Like this is a change, but most of these don't even need to be here. So I guess the notes are smaller than expected, but the big thing really is the removal of Hurricane means they can actually independently tune shit and make it good by itself instead of needing a 30% damage amp to make it worth pressing. And our tier sets just make us do what we're already doing better. So, no, it seems good. It seems decent. All right, well, I am starting my Heroic World Tour for Mop Remix. So I will. That's it for this Warrior stuff for now. But once I get in there, get some testing, we'll get some videos out, and we'll do shit with that. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'll see you then. Peace.